Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us live at the world premiere of Blue Planet II. In an hour or so, the cinema here, the IMAX in central London, is going to be flooded with a very special audience, including His Royal Highness the Duke of Cambridge, Sir David Attenborough. We've got a scattering of YouTubers, some celebrities from the natural history world, and also, of course, the talented creators and producers of Blue Planet II, including the executive producer James Honeybourne and musical genius Hans Zimmer. I'm Maddie from BBC Earth Unplugged on YouTube, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I'm so excited to be talking to the creators. But of course, this is Facebook Live, so we want your questions. There's a whole team of us, so I do have Jack on the camera. If you want to just give us a wave, give us a thumbs up, Jack. Why not? There he is. We've also got Cara, who's behind the scenes, who's going to be taking your questions. So if you do have any questions for the creators, these are the producers, the directors, the camera crew of Blue Planet 2, then please do send them in. I'm going to move outside now because I need to show you the blue carpet. If you'd like to just come with me this way. A very appropriate blue carpet, I think you'll agree. And behind me we have the world's press, who are lined up already waiting to meet the creators of just such an epic landmark series. And I'd like to just introduce Laura here. So Laura is our Blue Planet insider. And Laura, how exactly have you been involved in Blue Planet 2?
I've had a really brilliant opportunity to get involved with the crew. So for the last 3 months or so, I've been looking through all of the behind the scenes and that making of footage that people love so much. Yeah. So how the programme's made, how we got the shots, all the endeavour that we've had to go to. And I've looked at loads of hours of that, which has been brilliant. And then I've been making, the team have been making films for YouTube and for Facebook that you'll get to see really, really soon about how it's all done and how it's put together.
So that's really exciting. Like, Blue Planet was such a landmark series. It was enjoyed by people all over the world. Having sat through all of that footage, what are the key themes of this series? Are there any differences?
I think, this would be very much for the producers and the crew to tell you that themselves, but from where I was sat, there's a real emphasis on newness, which was amazing. New kit, new technology, new approaches, new species, new behaviour, new science, working with lots and lots of scientists for the first time, which enabled us to see things we wouldn't have otherwise seen, and reveal new stories that are completely new to biology and science, which is brilliant. But also conservation. There's a really strong conservation theme in every programme, and in fact the final episode, Programme 7, is actually about the future of the oceans, and I think that's a really important message and quite brave.
If you do have any questions about any of those things, then please do send them in. Laura's she's got a phone here. We are going to be monitoring those questions and sending and helping us answer any questions you do have. But also you're going to be grabbing some people for us, because you do have a bit of an insight into the crew and the people who are behind the camera. We do have someone who's already sort of waiting in the wings who we want to speak to. Do you want to go grab them? Yeah, okay. So we've got a little bit of a surprise. One of the crew has got dressed up especially for the occasion, but whilst we're just waiting for her to come out onto the blue carpet, let me just give you a bit of context about where we are today. Blue Planet, so back in 2001, Blue Planet first hit our TV screens, and it took the Natural History Unit 4 years to create this epic series that introduced us to the ocean and gave us sights that we'd never seen before, and it was absolutely breathtaking. And of course it was presented and narrated by Sir David Attenborough. Now, a generation on, the NHU have decided it's time to return to the seas and revisit those oceans, and in doing so they have used the best technology, the latest science, and as Laura was saying, as a result we have a really, really exciting series. Let me just introduce you now to someone who I said has been dressed up for the occasion. Hiya, is it Rachel?
Yes.
Yeah. Rachel, what are you wearing today? That feels like such a blue carpet question to ask.
I'm wearing a rebreather, which is what we've used a lot for the series to get very close to the animals without disturbing them. Right. So as opposed to normal scuba, where when you finish through your tank of air, that's it, you rebreathe at the same loop of air over and over again, and it slowly adds bits of oxygen. And so you can stay down for, my longest dive was 4 hours and 17 minutes.
4 hours?
Yeah.
So is that something they've were able to do on the first series?
They just started to pioneer the use of rebreathers on Blue Planet 1, but we've been using them across the board. I've personally spent about 600 hours in the water, and we've used them for about 6,000 hours across the series over the 3 years. So,
are you okay? Is it heavy?
it's quite heavy. I'm going to pop this one down.
Please do. Wow. So you have been filming, is that right? Operating cameras?
No, so I'm one of the assistant producers, and I've been one of the safety divers and directors under the water. So the cameramen are filming, and I'm standing or normally lying behind them, watching the behaviour occurring. But the great thing about these is that we don't disturb the animals at all. Normally with this you're producing lots of bubbles, whereas with a rebreather you're perfectly silent, which means you can be part of their world without disturbing them, and you can just stay down there for so long and then eventually capture those magical moments that hopefully everyone will be so excited about in the series.
What I didn't realise is I just assumed that you had cameramen who were down there, camera women who were doing the filming, and then you would review the footage. I had no idea that producers would be down there actually monitoring the behaviour as you went along.
Absolutely. Well, the thing with diving, of course, is that it can be you need somebody down there watching your back, because if there's animals around the area, if there's big whales, if there's sharks, you need to make sure that someone's watching the cameraman, because normally they're watching the behaviour. So it's important to have somebody like that. And plus, if there's someone from production down there, then of course we're monitoring what's going on, so they can't tell us any fibs, so they come up to the surface.
How are you feeling about today? Are you excited?
I'm so excited. I've worked on this for 3 years, and it's been such a massive team, and we've all worked so hard, and this is the first opportunity that we get to show the rest of the world. So we're all a bit nervous, I think, but we're very excited.
If you do have any questions for Rachel, please do send them in. We've also got some other people here. Who do we have?
We've got here Yoli, who is one of the researchers on the series, for the whole of the 4 years, and Katie, who's a production manager. But I know from Yoli's point of view, she was actually, Yoli, why don't you tell us, has it been your first job in the Natural History Unit?
I tell you what, so Rachel, you don't move. Yoli, you come with me. I'm just worried that Rachel's carrying some very heavy equipment. So Yoli, you were a researcher.
Yeah, so I'm the series researcher on Blue Planet 2, and so this was actually my first job in TV, and so I just think of the things that I've learned from when I first came onto this production to what I know now, and it's mind-blowing how much I've learned.
I mean, talk about jumping in at the deep excuse the analogy, but you really did jump in at the deep end there. How did that feel, being employed on Blue Planet 2 as your first job in natural history? I'm sure that's something that our audience would absolutely love to have had that opportunity.
Absolutely. I think it was incredibly overwhelming, but at the same time I think I probably didn't quite realise the scale of what we were actually doing until a year or two in, and then it just became it's just incredible to me, just thinking of all the shoots that we've done, and it's been really amazing.
So what do you do as a researcher? Because something like Blue Planet 2, it's such a huge series. Where do you start looking for stories?
So what we usually do is we try to basically talk to as many people as we possibly can. We talk to scientists, we read magazines, we read papers, and we try to figure out what new science stories might actually look really, really beautiful and kind of connect with the general public. So it's really exciting. I really love that because I'm a scientist myself.
Yeah.
So it means that I get to speak to all these different scientists and experts in the field as well all the time. And then basically pick out the best stories that we can put on TV.
Wow.
So
we don't want to give you any spoilers today, but is there anything you're particularly looking forward to, or you're looking forward to everybody else seeing?
Well, today there are some incredible behaviours for you guys to see. And some of them involve just how intelligent fish are, and that's something that I think the general public don't necessarily think about when they look at a fish. So I'm really, really excited for people to see that sequence, but I won't give it away.
Okay, so some amazing animal behaviour. Yoli, thank you so much. Laura, who else do we have here? All right, okay. Katie, how have you been involved in the series?
I am the production manager. I've been working on this project since 2013, and I work closely with the exec and the series producer to bring together this extraordinary team of people to make this incredible show. When we discussed it 4 years ago, the ambition seemed impossible.
Yeah.
We wanted to bring the ocean to a new audience, but also show everybody how interconnected we are to the ocean. And for that to be our starting point, and then obviously my job is to work with the production management team and support every everybody to make this film. So we've done over 1,500 days filming. Some of our shoots take a year and a half to set up, and some of our other shoots take 2 days to set up. We've had a massive team of production coordinators who are extraordinary people.
Yeah.
They make everything and anything happen, and I'm really proud to be here today to represent the whole team and just say how extraordinary. What a moment.
It really is a team effort as well, and that's something that already people are talking about. I read that there's been 125 expeditions, 39 countries have been visited, and you have filmed across every ocean and every continent.
Absolutely, and the logistics and the production and management support that goes into making sure that everybody is safe on location. They come back with the stories, that everything's prepped and planned really carefully, and then looking after them when they come back, because everyone's really, really excited. So the buzz when we see that footage, and we all crowd around somebody's phone, because sometimes they WhatsApp us from location and say, look what we got today. And so in the world of in the digital world, we're all connected, and so we are a team. Even though some of us are based in Bristol and some around the planet, we're just all looking after each other. So it is a supreme collective effort.
Well, huge congratulations. I hope you enjoy everything today, and I've got a couple of cards I do need to read out. So best of luck, best of luck. We've got more people. It's very busy. Everyone is starting to arrive now. And I believe I'm chatting with Orla. Is that right? Orla, hi. We're live on Facebook.
Hello.
Do you just want to let us know exactly how you're involved?
Yes, I've produced 2 episodes of the series, the Deep episode and the final episode, Our Blue Planet, about the future of our oceans. And I also made the prequel, which is going live in 2 hours.
Yes, so we haven't mentioned the prequel yet.
Sorry.
No, it's a good point. It's something we need to mention, but I'll do that after. So I've got a couple of questions for you. So filming something like The Deep, it obviously has some fairly unique challenges. And part of that is obviously you need to spend a lot of time in submersibles. Tell me about your experience. What is it like being in a submersible, first of all?
It's well, it can go any which way, really. Luckily, I don't get claustrophobic.
Right.
Most of my friends think I'm a bit nuts, actually wanting to get in a sub in the first place. For me, it's incredible, simply because you just never know what is going to happen. Anything could happen, or nothing could happen. We go diving for 8, 9, 10 hours, and there are times when we've seen absolutely nothing.
Really?
Really. Which is a little bit challenging when you're down there to actually film things and there's nothing to film. But then we've had times when we've just seen things that no one's ever seen before, and probably no one will ever see again. And so that's just a really extraordinary place to be.
So is it fair to say on your journey down to the deep, that you did see some new species, some things that had never been seen before?
Oh, we filmed a whole world that's never been seen before. There's this erupting thing called the methane volcano that a scientist led me to, and I just trusted her, and she sort of said, there's something going on down there, you might want to see it, I don't know. And I said, okay, let's go. What we saw, she'd never seen before. It was these giant bubbles coming out of the seafloor in such a violent way that even she was shocked. And we went back again the next day, and there was nothing happening. So we just caught this one moment in time, and luckily the world can get to see it.
I mean, Orla, I know we shouldn't have favourites, but The Deep was probably my standout moment from the first series.
Really?
So I am so excited for this time round. And how do you film out of a submersible?
You put your cameras outside, and so we're inside a bubble, which is great because that's where you want to be at 1,000 meters, but your cameras are outside the bubble, and that actually makes for really quite a technologically challenging situation where you're doing everything remotely. You can't tweak your lights, you can't sort of go, that squid's over there, let's move the light. You can't, it's fixed. So it's actually really difficult. I think we've been incredibly lucky because we've had so much time. We've managed to deliver a film that does capture beauty, capture action, capture monsters, captures all of that. But it hasn't been easy.
And I wonder if I've got any questions from the audience at this point.
Well, we have had some fantastic comments. Everybody on Facebook, including CG, is just saying thank you to all of the crew for talking to them. They've loved hearing from you and are really, really excited. I have a question that's come in from Facebook. This one's from Emma Hodson, and she says, do you have hope for the future of the oceans and the species that live in it?
Yes, I do. Because we've made this final film, and our mission in making the final film was to do 2 things: shine a light on the challenges that the ocean is facing, and really look at plastics, look at coral bleaching, look at ocean acidification, look at overfishing, look at all the things that really, mostly through our mindlessness, we have done to influence the ocean. But what we've also done is go looking for the stories where amazingly passionate individuals or groups of individuals have made a difference and have turned things around. So we meet a guy who just decided, do you know what, I'm going to do something about the leatherback turtles that come and nest on our beach. And he's changed their future, and he's therefore changed our future.
Yeah.
And what we wanted to do is just say, yeah, there's hope. There's tons of hope, but it's up to us. So we just wanted to put the big word out and say, look. Okay, now let's all decide.
Orla, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Enjoy today.
Thanks
Thank
very
you for speaking
much.
to us. I've actually got another guest over here. If you are just joining us, hello. Obviously, we're live on Facebook at the world premiere of Blue Planet 2, and we're talking to a whole host of producers, creators, and stars, including right now, I have Ellie Simmons with me. Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, really good. Really, really excited to be here on the blue carpet, and just so looking forward to seeing the show and the programme.
Well, I mean, you're obviously very familiar with the water. What does the ocean mean to you, though?
Oh, it mesmerises me. When I was younger, actually, even though I love swimming and I love water, I used to be scared of the ocean, and recently I conquered that fear, and now the ocean just intrigues me. Just to see on the surface it looks so calm, but then underneath it's just a wave of activity, and it's not just the big mammals like the humpback whales, but it's all the little plankton and stuff, and it's just so intriguing.
Did you watch the first series?
Yes, I did, and my cousin, she has it on DVD, and I think not just the Blue Planet, but the likes of like Planet Earth, just those natural programs, they just intrigue everyone.
Yeah, I think they really do. There's something about them that they just unite absolutely everybody across the world.
Oh, everyone, not just people from Britain, but everyone worldwide is so intrigued by it.
Oh, thank you so much for chatting. I really, really hope you enjoy it. I'm not going to get to see it myself, so maybe I see you afterwards. Let me know how it is.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
Thank you, Ellie. Thanks very much. So, we have just spoken to Orla, who was a producer of The Deep, but now I actually have John Copley here. John, come on over. It's so nice to talk to you. We've actually been emailing back and forward because you have something to show us. I'm so excited about this.
Yes,
Right.
so I've got with me a polystyrene coffee cup that's been into the deep and back. So that was a normal sized coffee cup, and it got all the air got squeezed out of it by the pressure of a journey in and out of the deep.
So where exactly has this gone?
Well, this actually went 5,000 metres down in the Cayman Trough in the Caribbean to the world's deepest known undersea volcanic vents on the ocean floor.
Okay, so this is hot springs under
springs
sea, basically.
Yep, exactly.
So
Yep.
it's slightly stained. Is that coffee, or is that sort of thermal activity?
No, that's actually an alcoholic beverage used as a shot glass at a scientific conference. But there we are.
Anyway, moving straight on. John, what is it that you do?
So I was able to be scientific advisor on
Yeah.
this, and then take part on a month-long expedition to the Antarctic. We were on board a ship. You'll see some of it in the second episode and some of it in the 7th episode. And we were diving with mini submarines. And as Orla may have mentioned, that the team, we were able to make the first dives with mini submarines to reach 1 kilometre deep. That's 0.62 of a mile deep in the Antarctic.
Wow, so lots of firsts for you as well then.
Yeah, and so fantastic to see that landscape firsthand.
What's your background?
So I'm a marine biologist.
Right.
My day job, if you like, is exploring the oceans, the deep oceans in particular. We go out on expeditions. We're still finding lots of new species all the time.
Yeah.
And understanding how the patterns of life work in the oceans and how our everyday lives are affecting life in the oceans.
Something that, well, I guess I've been wanting to ask, someone like you, a marine biologist who've been working on this series, is I think, Blue Planet 2, it's sort of an example where entertainment is leading scientific research. How does that work? Because for dives like this to happen, you're not just diving to create a TV show, you're diving for new discovery. How do the filmmakers work alongside the scientists?
It's great because it works both ways. So obviously filmmakers want to know where they can go to film amazing things that haven't been shown to people before. So scientists can help guide them to that.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, because we're able to go with the filmmakers, spend longer looking at things in the deep ocean, then we're seeing things that we've never seen before. So there are also scientific discoveries come out of this partnership, which is great. It's a way to do it for the future.
So you could be down at the depths, you could be filming something, but if there's something worth sampling, you could take a sample at the same time too and bring it up.
All of the footage that we collected, I'll be going through and analysing, and it'll show us new things that we haven't seen before.
There is actually one more thing that I would like. I'm just going to go to Alex here. Do we have that sample that I gave you previously? 1 second, everyone. You have seen a pressurised polystyrene cup, which has had all of the air squeezed out of it. Well, now I would like to introduce you all to Lady Hoff. John, tell us about this little character.
So this is a species from the deep ocean around Antarctica, from about 2.5 kilometres deep. And its nickname is the Hoff crab because it has a hairy chest like the actor David Hasselhoff. And this is actually a small female, and it lives around these hot springs on the ocean floor. And no one had ever seen one of these before 2009. And it's a new, one of the many new species we're still finding in the deep ocean.
So obviously
John,
blue.
Sorry
Great.
to interrupt. I've got some questions for you actually from Facebook. Would it be okay to squash back into this corner a tiny bit? There's just so many people here. We're trying to keep out of everyone's way. So I've got a question for you. It's from Rachel Williams. What did you study to become a marine biologist?
Right, very good question. So I studied zoology. So I was really interested in animals growing up. In fact, I wanted to be a vet, but
So did
a little bit squeamish.
Too lazy.
So I studied zoology, and then it's animals in the ocean that really fascinate me. So I then studied oceanography, and that then kind of made me a marine biologist.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, that was from Rachel Williams.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. John, enjoy the show.
you.
I really hope you enjoy it. I'll look after Lady Hoff now, if that's all right.
Okay.
Maybe we'll be able to have another peek at her again later. But enjoy it. Thank you so
Have a
much.
good day.
Bye.
Nice talking to you.
Right, okay, so I'm being told that just behind me we have Radiohead, and this is actually a good opportunity to talk to you about something that is happening at midday today. I'm looking over to my producer here. So, although we do have to wait to watch Blue Planet 2 on our television screens, at midday today on Facebook, we are going to have a prequel to Blue Planet 2, and there's something very exciting about that prequel. I'd like to speak to Radiohead here. Hiya. So we are live on Facebook, just talking about the prequel that is obviously going to be launching this afternoon at 12 o'clock, and it features a very special collaboration between yourselves and Hans Zimmer. Could you tell us a bit about it?
Sure. He did a string arrangement of the song, and Tom went and sang it again for him. And it felt like the perfect song for this because the original Bloom was written from inspiration to Blue Planet 1.
Wow. So you watched the first series and felt inspired to write a piece of music about it, and then so I guess generation on, that's now been reimagined.
Exactly.
And
Well played.
are you happy with the outcome? Are you pleased with it?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Always great when you use real strings and real orchestras.
And what about being involved in a project like this? How important is that for you? And both of you have younger kids, is that right? So this series, it carries a message, a hopeful message for the future about conservation. Is this something that's been important for you in getting involved with this?
With our children, I think it's important because it's all about curiosity of nature and the excitement you have when you're young and of new things of the wildlife and landscape, and I hope you never lose that. And that's what's fabulous about Blue Planet 2, is it helps rekindle and keep that flame of curiosity alive, I think.
Okay, well, thank you so much for chatting with me, guys. I hope you enjoy the first episode today. Thank you very much. So that was Radiohead, and like I've just been saying, if you do want to get a taste of what's to come with Blue Planet, later today we are going to be releasing a very special prequel episode, and it's going to be set to a brand new beautiful piece of music, which is a collaboration between Radiohead, who we've just spoken to, and Hans Zimmer, who we might be speaking to later. Laura, next, we're speaking to him next, fantastic. Just moving this way.
Sorry.
Laura, have we had any other messages?
People are just really thrilled. They're really enjoying all of your questions and all of the answers. I've got a general question from Chris Miller, and Chris asked how long did it take to film the show. So what I can tell you is that it was 4 years in the making. I think the team have done somewhere in the region of 125 different shoots at different locations. To me, that's just completely bonkers.
I know. How you go about organising something like that, I don't even know.
We were speaking to Katie earlier, the production manager. That was, that fell to her and her team, and it's quite astounding, isn't it, to think you've sent those crews around the world on sometimes difficult, dangerous shoots.
I dread to think how much footage there was if you were to sort of like add all of that footage
Hours
together.
and
I mean,
hours
Laura,
and
you've watched a fair lot of it, sort of like picking out stories, haven't you, here and there? So just if you have just joined us, Laura is sort of like our Blue Planet insider, has looked at a lot of the footage, but you've been pulling some of it out, haven't you, to put on YouTube. So not
Yes, we
everything's
have.
going on TV.
No, we've got a massive amount of sort of additional, exclusive, sort of never before seen content. Lots of different videos about how the team got the shots. So these are those behind the scenes and those making of moments that people really, really love. We've got loads more of them, which is really good news. And they'll be shared on the BBC Earth Facebook page, on YouTube, on Instagram and on Twitter during and after the broadcast of the series. But they'll be available globally for everybody to watch. And they're just some brilliant moments of kind of how the team managed to go about making this series, actually.
Which is, I think, is great for all of us, because we might not all be getting the show on our TV screens at the same time, but there is going to be so much sort of like supportive content and video online as well.
I'm going to see if I can grab one
Yeah,
very
please do.
exciting person. Let me see if he's available.
Please do. Also, I was told that Hans Zimmer is on the blue carpet. I think we might get an opportunity to talk to him in just a second. But I've just been speaking to Laura about what's going to be available online, so what's going to be supporting Blue Planet 2. But I am just going to give a quick shout out to exactly where people will be able to watch the series. We're in the middle of London. It's noisy. You might be able to hear that police siren. Okay, it's gone. So this is where you will eventually be able to watch the series. So if you're in the UK, hello to everyone watching in the UK, you'll be able to see it on BBC One. Singapore, Norway and Poland, you'll be able to watch it on the BBC Earth channel. If you're in India, it's Sony BBC Earth. Spain, Telefonica. And then next year, the US will be getting it on BBC America, alongside the BBC Earth channel for Canada. Germany will be able to watch it on WDR. France will be seeing it on France televisions, and everywhere else, if you just go to bbcearth.com/Blue Planet 2, that is where you'll be able to find lots of content. Laura, who do we have here?
Well, here we have Buck, who I will let introduce himself, but needless to say, he's a very, very important part of the crew.
Buck, who are you? Tell us about how have you been involved?
I'm on the Alusha. We did lots of filming for the Deep.
Okay.
And I run the submarine operations.
Okay, so to our audience who might not know what the Alusha is, what's the Alusha?
Alusha's a 50-metre research and filming vessel. Travel the world. We've got no home port. We just go where the action is. We've got 2 submarines on board that go to 1,000 metres. And we've done some great filming for this production.
And you are a pilot of one of those submersibles.
Yep.
How many dives have you done, if you could make a rough estimate, a guesstimate?
Over 2,000 dives.
And when you go down, how does it feel even now?
It's amazing, because generally the places we're going to, nobody's ever been before. You're seeing new action that nobody's seen, so yeah, it's amazing.
I've just had a word from Alex here. Okay, no worries. If you don't mind, I'm just going to chat to Sir David Attenborough. We are going to talk to Sir David Attenborough now. Don't mean to push Buck out the way, but this is fairly important. Old friends.
You realise that we're among sharks in a way that you never believed possible with this lot.
And the London traffic.
And the London traffic.
And the press.
Lovely to see you.
And you, David.
But can I borrow Sir David from you?
Yes,
that's
sorry.
all right.
Thank you.
I dread to to part these two friends
Have you seen
here.
any of this stuff yet?
No.
It's what?
Only first hand.
Boring.
Sir David, it is an absolute pleasure to meet you. I would like to ask, since Blue Planet, how have you seen the oceans change since Blue Planet to now?
Plastic. What I've seen is plastic. And wherever you go, you find plastic.
Right.
And that's a change. I mean, I first dived dived in the tropics anyway, in 1957. So that's a long time ago. And you didn't see any plastic then. But you see plastic everywhere now. There's no part of the ocean where you can't see a bit of floating polythene or something.
So I heard a statistic, I mean it's an estimation, that by 2050 the amount of plastic in the ocean will weigh the same as the amount of fish, which just absolutely shocks me.
Oh.
Have you witnessed this yourself, the plastic?
I
Something you've
see
seen?
plastic everywhere, yeah.
Right.
Even in the remotest part of the Pacific, you can see plastic floating around. If you go and sort through the sand on the ocean shore, you'll see these tiny little things that look like sand but aren't sand, but they're fragments of plastic. And what's worse is they're fragments of plastic that selectively absorb poisons, so that they are concentrating the poison that goes into those little globules, and fish are eating them.
Yeah. And of course, if fish are eating them, then the predators are eating them, and that works its way all the way up the chain to us as well. But despite that, are you hopeful for the future?
The future's going to be different. and it won't be as rich as it was, and I don't think you'll be able to make a film like this, a program like this, in another 10 years' time. I don't ask my questions, say, am I optimistic, am I pessimistic? I get up sometimes feeling one way, some way or the other. Whatever I am, I'm concerned. That's what I am, concerned, and I think everybody should be.
But for our live audience who are watching all over the world right now, what can we be doing? Are there any little changes that we can make that will make a difference?
Well, yes, we can demand our politicians, local politicians and international politicians, to actually make regulations which sort out this problem of poisoning the sea. And we hope that nations may get together to try and get treaties to agree not to overfish in certain areas. And that, as far as plastic is concerned, that people themselves in their daily lives would not use plastic unnecessarily.
Okay. So David, thank you so much. You are being asked to move on now, but enjoy. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to move back over to Laura now. I'm just holding it together right now. Wow, that's sort of like a childhood dream sort of accomplished right there. Laura, do we have any questions or comments from the audience? Has anything come in after that amazing moment?
People are extremely grateful to have been able to for all of the guests so far, and certainly Sir David, yes. Please do send any questions in for the crew. We'll try to get them answered. One of the questions, I don't know if I can answer this terribly well, but Colin Mackard asks, how are crew selected for each of the episodes? And as far as my understanding is based, it's, you know, we'll look at the Natural History Unit, we'll look at the shoots, look at the requirements. Each one is very unique, and we'll pick people based on their individual skills and experience.
And I think that's key as well.
Not all underwater filming is the same. Sometimes it's cold water, deep water. You know, it's everything's different. And so actually, we've got a great network of people, global talent really.
But not even on the water, also above the water, you need people who are able to film from helicopters, and also people who can film with brand new kit that possibly hasn't been used before.
Exactly, and the same is true for sound.
Yes.
I think, it's difficult.
Yeah, exactly. How do you record sound? I am actually going to now speak to Hans Zimmer, musical genius. Hans, hi.
Hello.
It is so wonderful to speak to you. I actually have a
You don't know that yet.
Well, I mean, I've been watching some videos. I have an idea, and I know that you're very, very passionate about this. Tell me about that.
I am very passionate about it. Well, how can you not be passionate about this? Apart from it being Sir David.
I just spoke to him.
I know.
I nearly lost it, to be honest.
Exactly. And that's the only legitimate reaction to have.
Yeah, okay.
Because if you think about all these people that are called heroes or whatever, or icons, you know, how many of them have actually really truly dedicated their life in making our planet better? Because this is where we live, and we share it with these creatures. And if we don't take care of each other, and we've been doing a really bad job of it, you know, I mean, atrocious the way we treat this planet. And rather than him lecturing us, he makes us see things and understand things, and shows us things which are magical and truly. I mean, that 20 new scientific papers were created while they were making this series. You know, I don't think that happened during Coronation Street. You know, so you know, there's something really fundamentally, mind-blowingly important about this. Because if we want to be able to survive on this planet, we better learn how to recognize and treat our neighbors, you know, the other creatures with some respect and dignity, and that we will look. 70% of the planet is water.
Yeah.
There's a lot more of them than there's of us, and so we better start to understand this.
And talking about all of these creatures, you have an amazing opportunity in composing the music for Blue Planet 2 to actually create the personalities for the animals and the sea life we meet on screen. How does that work?
You do a little bit. You don't try to do parody. You don't. This is not a cartoon. You know, and what I think is more important is to somehow become a bridge between Sir David's voice, the images, and that thing that cannot be said elegantly in images and in words. So, you know, to just invite you in as an audience, take you below the surface, and help provide an experience for you that I promise you never had and you'll never have again.
Wow. We are live on Facebook. If I just bring you around here for a second, Hans. I just wonder if we have any questions from our audience that might be related to music or any that are coming up. If not, I've got absolutely hundreds.
I have a question. Hello, I have a question it's from James Goatman, and my apologies if you've probably already answered this because I suspect you probably have. He just wants to know what's the approach that you take when creating music for this sort of series.
The approach, I never know what the approach is. Usually I let the images to speak to me, but in this case, having done a lot of movies, the approach is very similar to a movie, except that I know that this is somehow more important, because this is about the survival of our world, and it's about showing the world to us in a way that we've never seen it before.
And making us feel something as well.
Well, exactly. The idea of truly enhancing the experience and making a connection between humanity and what lurks below the surface.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Hans, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the first episode today.
Oh yeah, I will.
Yeah? What do you hope
I might have seen it, but never like this.
What do you hope the audience take away from it? A final question from me.
Here's what you take away with anything from David Attenborough. You take away, you're just slightly smarter coming out than when you went in, and it's been quite effortless and incredibly entertaining, and truly you get to have an experience, you get to have moments where you go, I can't believe it, this truly is our world, I never knew this existed.
Okay, Hans, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you so much. And
I also have James here.
Oh, fantastic.
James Honeyborn.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much.
So we have James Honeyborn here. He is the executive.
He's the executive producer, that's right.
So he's the executive producer of Blue Planet II. So James has been across all of the series, so he has a really good idea about everything really and how the whole series has come together. I'm going to try and pinch him just after he's finished speaking to Hans. If I can just give someone those cards, there we go.
So David actually knows my uncle's South Carolina.
I'm going to let those chat. So Laura, I'm going to try and grab James as soon as possible. Can you sort of explain to us exactly what James has been doing? What's his role in this?
James's role as an executive producer, he's overall responsible for the series. So he's in charge, if you like, of every single... I'll let him explain.
Here he is!
Sorry about that.
No, that's absolutely fine. We've got a couple of questions for you. We are live on Facebook to an audience who are all extremely eager, very passionate about the planet and, of course, the oceans. So Blue Planet first aired back in 2001.
Yes.
Why is now the right time to be making this again? Why is now the right time to make Blue Planet 2?
Well, it's a generation on. They set out to make that series 20 years ago, and I think there's so much new science and so much new technology that allows us to tell new stories in new ways. So it's all about the newness, really. I think we're going to be introduced to a whole new cast of characters, and that's really exciting.
So a decision that's been made for this particular series is that each episode has its own producer. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And so why is that? Do you think that benefits the series?
Well, each film is a massive undertaking in its own right. We've got 7 in total. Each film needs its own person looking after it. But of course, we've got our series producer Mark and I looking after the whole series. It all comes together under one roof, and then of course Sir David puts his magic to it all.
Yeah, and you mentioned sort of newness, this idea of new technology.
Yes.
Can you tell us about some of this new tech? Are we going to see some exciting new cameras being used?
Absolutely, yes.
Can you give anything away?
Well, I think one of the things which gives an iconic look is this lens and a housing that allows us to split the ocean in half, and we can see underwater and above it. In fact, that was taken on it there, so you can see this sort of split screen, and it allows you to have a real context to the world of both above the water and below at the same time, and that's lovely. It's a kind of iconic look. But we've also got these tiny little probe cameras that can go in between the branches of coral and give you a fish's eye view of what it's like to be on the coral reef.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I actually saw a little trailer for the prequel that's going to be going live at midday, and it looked like there was a camera on a turtle. Possibly?
There might well have been.
Who knows? It'd be great to take some questions for our audience, if that's okay.
I have a
Laura?
question for you. This is from Lee Bacon, actually, and he wants to know, what was the weirdest fish you saw?
A weird fish or fish doing weird things?
Maybe like the weirdest creature.
The weirdest. Some of the deep sea fish are just extraordinary. Some of the things which live in the really deep sea, they're just out of this world. They appear like alien creatures. But the great thing about all our fish is once you get to really meet them and look at them in the eyes, you realise that they're characters. They've got their own intelligence. They're charismatic. They're just fun to spend time with. So I love, for me, the weirdest ones are the ones which surprise you through their intelligence.
Oh, okay. We're getting sort of like little teasers there.
Weird sequence. Is it now? What kind of shrimp are they? The ones that live in the burrows underneath.
Oh, the zebra
weird
mantis shrimp.
Sequence.
That's a weird creature.
It's quite dark.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Very surprised.
Well, they're romantic animals. They can live together with their partner for up to 20 years. A shrimp, can you believe it? 40 centimeters long, almost the size of a lobster. Big shrimp called a zebra mantis.
So, I'm in the dark here. You're talking about romantic zebra shrimp, guys.
But there's a dark twist to it, which will be revealed by about episode 5 or something.
James, thank you so much. Lots of teasers there.
Okay, great.
Enjoy it. I know everybody else is really excited.
Well,
but thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks for taking the time.
All right, cheers. Thank you so much. We have got another producer I believe we're talking to next. I'm actually going to move backwards. Don't want Jack to trip up on anyone. Hi everyone. If you are just joining us, we are live on the blue carpet at the world premiere of Blue Planet 2, and I'm about to be speaking to Mark, I believe. Mark.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
You are live on Facebook to the world.
Oh my God. Hi. Hi, Facebook.
How have you been involved in the series?
I'm the series producer, so I lived and breathed Ocean, Blue Planet 2 for the last 4 years, along with 20 of our team. And it's been a journey of discovery. We have explored every ocean. We've been to the bottom of Antarctica for the world first.
Yeah.
We've been across the world's coral reefs. We've been into the open ocean. It's been an extraordinary experience.
So you have spent a lot of time on boats, on the water,
Yeah.
underwater?
Yeah, we've been out there, and I think what we discovered is a whole new relationship with the world's oceans. The characters that we've come across, octopus that can cut themselves in shells to protect themselves against sharks, tuskfish that use tools. We never thought
Tools?
fish. Yeah.
What?
Exactly. You never thought a fish, a humble fish, could be so intelligent. And so we're having this whole reimagining of how clever and genius our marine life is. And we've got a whole greater understanding of how the ocean works as a system and how important it is to us and how closely we are connected to it.
If you do have any questions, then please do send them in. I know Laura's on the phone. She might have a few that we can ask. But
Right.
from a personal point of view, how was it spending all of that time on a boat? Like, is it
Well-
cramped? Like, how was that experience?
I have to be honest, because I'm the series producer, I don't get out as much as my intrepid team.
Okay.
But I was very lucky to, for instance, dive in the giant bait balls in Costa Rica, where these deep sea lanternfish come up at night to feed. And in the morning, if they're caught out, you get these huge pods of thousands of spinner dolphins that rip into them, along with yellowfin tuna. So to be in the water amongst them is an extraordinary experience.
Oh, we are getting loads of little teasers here, so I'm really glad we spoke. Laura, do we have any questions from the audience?
Yeah, it's from Fred Mallin, and Fred asks, what impact do you hope the series will have?
Well, look, we hope that people are going to fall in love with the oceans. It's so important for our health to have a healthy ocean system. And really, we hope they're going to engage in your everyday creature, like, as I said, the octopus or the humble reef fish, and really recognise how clever, smart, and quirky they are.
And you've obviously been across all of the episodes. This key message you're talking about now, that's something that is prominent in the last episode. Is that right?
Yeah, we make this big wrap-up episode that really gets under the skin and into the details of asking what is the future of the world's oceans, what is the health of our ocean planet. And we've worked with and collaborated with some inspiring experts and scientists who tell their story and really inspire us to see that we can make it. If we change our ways, we can make a difference.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much. Do we have any other questions there? Fantastic. Enjoy the show.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be starting anytime soon.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And please tune in. Okay.
Yeah, they absolutely
All right.
will. Absolutely will.
Thanks.
Let me see. I'm just going to talk to the team here. How are we doing? Okay, fantastic. So,
we did mention at the beginning, let me just move over here slightly, we did mention at the beginning that this is obviously the world premiere of Blue Planet 2. We have some very important guests. So David Attenborough has already arrived. I did get to speak to him earlier. It was an absolute dream come true. But in just a moment, His Royal Highness the Duke of Cambridge will be arriving. He is going to be attending today, which is extremely, extremely exciting. Laura, how is everybody at home? I'm not getting to see the questions. Are they enjoying the stream? What's the general feedback?
I think there's a lot of excitement for this series, which doesn't surprise me at all, because I feel myself like I've been waiting for it for sort of, I can't believe 20 years. That makes me feel really old.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots and lots of excitement. I think people are just really pleased to sort of hear a little bit more about how the programmes are made, the behind the scenes, talking to the producers about how we did it, really. Really grateful.
I think for me as well, Blue Planet was such... It was such a huge part of my childhood and watching that documentary and just being moved over here, everybody. And I've got such a good memory of that first series. I'm really excited to see this, to see Blue Planet 2 and just be amazed all over again and just to sort of like witness the epicness of all of that.
I love how every time as well I watch one of these films I learn something. I feel like I know a fair amount about our oceans.
Okay, so we are just going to move out of the way. Just so you all know, behind us we do have the world's press. They are lining themselves up because His Royal Highness the Duke of Cambridge is about to be walking the blue carpet heading into the IMAX. If you are just joining us, hello. We are live from the world premiere of Blue Planet 2. Just going to take a peek around these people. 1 second, everyone. And move out of the way for everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, if you have been with us at all. We're going to move this way, everybody. We won't be speaking to the Duke of Cambridge today, but the fact he is here just goes to show what an exciting event this is, and also how important it is not only for television but also for the future of our planet and the health of our oceans. So actually the arrival there of His Royal Highness pretty much marks the end of this live stream. Okay, so there we go. Everyone is now taking their seats upstairs to watch the world premiere of Blue Planet 2, and you will be able to watch it soon too. But until then, do make sure you check out the amazing prequel, which features the epic collaboration between Hans Zimmer and Radiohead. I've heard the piece of music is absolutely beautiful. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to BBC Earth Unplugged. A huge thank you to everyone who's taken part in this live today, and of course to Laura Howard, who's been my Blue Planet insider. Subscribe and we'll see you very soon. Bye.